Everyone fights in relationships, but, sometimes we just don't talk about it. So it feels kind of lonely. This week, we had you guys send in your most common issues, fights, topics, and today we're going to discuss them. Hello and welcome back to Staying Up with Cami and Taryn. I'm Cami.
And I'm Taryn. And every night we get to have a sleepover, but every week we invite you to join us. Thanks for staying up.
Thanks for staying up.
What's up, brother?
What's up?
How
was your Grammy viewing experience?
Look, since when are they 5 hours long?
Since always. I never watch award shows because I normally hate them.
I love them.
But I didn't mind this last one, except we did not make it through.
No, I mean, after it got to the Alicia Keys tribute as if she had left our planet and it was 10 years long, I'm like, I can't be doing this. And they always tribute her.
I know, it was very confusing. She's great. It just, I feel like normally the tributes feel like they make sense, where it's someone who's really old, or someone who just had a Vegas residency or just came back into the limelight.
I mean, I'm always in favor of celebrating people who are still with us, but I'm like, haven't we celebrated her a lot? And also, I don't know a lot about her, but I'm like, this girl's on fire. New York.
Your
what
parents
else?
just saw her
what else?
The Broadway play.
Am I crazy? What else?
I didn't actually hear the list that you're saying.
And this girl is on fire. What else?
Boo.
Okay, but what more recent?
Oh, I don't know any of her recent stuff. I haven't listened to her in a while.
Is she out here making bangers?
She was the soundtrack of my high school.
Right, which why didn't we celebrate her back then?
I think sometimes we have to let
a star burn out,
go a little to be wow, you did a big thing.
Yeah, and look, if I saw her in person, I'd be like, you're fucking Alicia Keys. You're amazing. Yeah. Thank you for everything you've done. I love you. I'm your biggest fan. But
fake
bitch.
You fake. I'd be like, no, she's not. She didn't even watch her tribute. We went to bed.
And I'd be like, girl, it's because every night I give you my own tribute in my heart.
Oh, wow. I was sad that we missed Charlie's performance. I think it was at the end, which makes sense to wrap it up. But I was I was in bed. I didn't get to see it until I saw it on TikTok today.
I'm feeling like such a little hater, but in my head, I'm like, once you've seen a Charlie performance, haven't you seen them all?
It looked pretty special.
What'd she do?
I disagree. She had so many people on stage. It just looked like a big party. It was really cute. It was very her.
Yeah, that's.
But I don't. But yeah, I get it. It's the brat aesthetic is. It's a strong brand.
Yeah,
you're a hater tonight, dude.
I'm on my period. I'm kind of raging.
Yeah, I'm see
sorry.
that.
You felt it.
Yeah, I'm the object of your hate right now.
Oh my god, no, you're never the object of my hate.
Did you also see Anonymous is back?
What's Anonymous?
The cyber hacker Anonymous.
No.
You know Anonymous. Wears a face thing. It literally feels like a movie every time. He's has voice changing.
Am I crazy? I've never heard of this.
Oh goodness, let me show you on my TikTok really quick. This
oh, I've seen. Okay,
I feel like
what is that called?
Anonymous.
No,
I just told you.
But that face is
oh yeah. I forget the name.
What is that? Oh my god, wait, they have
the way you're shaking your hand.
I
if it's gonna dislodge.
I have a sword in my hand.
You're where is
Zorro vibes. It's not Zorro.
No.
The Count of Monte Cristo. Is that it?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I feel when we were growing up and Anonymous first came out, it was he means business. He will be this vigilante character.
I don't know anything about what we were
people
we were
used to
thinking
take it
him.
So seriously when Anonymous first came onto the scene. But then nothing
what
ever
scene? Where is he coming?
On the internet.
What's he do? What's he talk about?
He's a hacker. So he's I will release all the stuff. He is supposed to set order. He's a little vigilante guy. I don't know. Nothing I feel has ever come from Anonymous. It really felt like we watched a movie. It was oh my god, he has control over. He's all knowing.
We watched a movie. What do you mean we watched?
I feel we're watching a movie when this happens.
I mean, I don't think it's
Babe,
landing.
I need you to focus and
no.
lock in.
I'm so locked in.
Are you?
But what I'm saying is, I don't think you understand that I know nothing about this. And so you're
I guess
when
I'm
he came on the scene,
how you don't know who Anonymous,
in front of all of us, I'm I've never seen this man or the scene.
But I filled you in. It's this guy who's
that
a hacker.
But what's he hack? And you said he doesn't even release stuff.
he releases stuff, but I feel like nothing ever comes from it. Like there's nothing big ever changes. Like it feels intense. It's like you think that if any political person does something wrong, he's going to be able to like let it out to the world and show everybody. And I'm sure he's done something. I don't know what he's done.
His credits.
But apparently he has gotten Trump's like social security, everything. He has everything on Trump.
He's going to like dox him?
And yeah, basically. And yeah, allegedly he's doing something big, or it's like a group. I don't know.
What's he going to do with it? Like what type of stuff does he do? Just release it?
Yeah, just causes like chaos and is like, I'm going to share all these secrets. Like you can't hide this stuff.
But what does one even do with Trump's social security number?
I know. I'm like,
get a job.
I'll open a bank account. I'll get a few bank accounts and tap into that.
Can you just do that with his social security number? Is that all you need for a bank account?
No, I think you need more. It's more. I don't know much about stealing someone's identity.
Okay, so this guy's gonna release some shit, and we're gonna be like,
allegedly,
whoa.
We'll find out.
What's the worst thing he could release about
I just
you?
saw this video. What's the worst thing he could release about me? My screen time.
Oh my god, that's so pure.
What about you?
All the ghosts in my closet.
Oh,
all the things I never said.
Okay. Baby's struggling. Also, I sent you a video today on TikTok, which it's so hard. I don't get alerts on TikTok, so I feel like we send each other in the DMs and then never see them. But it's more so I don't forget to show you it. And I'm like, same. I don't want to forget that this is what I wanted you to see, so later on I'll be like, I'll show you it. Something reminded me of you so much. I'm like, you would host this.
Tell me.
These people went to an event and it's their friends presenting their single friend.
Oh, amazing.
And sharing like why they'd be a great partner.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't know the details of how it works in the end, if people like can then date them or get their number. I don't know how it works.
Oh, I'm obsessed
But it's
with
like
that.
a show and you get on stage and you're like, this is why you should date my friend. And I just feel like that is something that you would organize.
Did it happen at like a ballroom?
I don't know.
Or like a bar?
Ballroom. It was a room. Why does that matter?
Because I'm trying to picture it.
Well, I DM'd you the video so you can check it out later. It's kind of in a ballroom here.
See?
Like that. Yeah. It's like a big, like you see, it's like the wooden.
Me and my friends found, what's it say?
It says, me and my friends found an event where people pitch their single friends to a whole crowd.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing. And we should 100% do that.
Yeah.
We should ask Futch if we could do that.
It says, okay, Shark Tank.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's really cute. And what a fun way to like meet people. It really gets your guard down of like, I'm not presenting myself, I'm not selling myself, but my friends who know me are. It reminded me of Married at First Sight, how before the vows they say Janice's friends. We both went for
Josh and Janice.
Oh my god, they'd be perfect.
Oh my god. Let me talk about my friend Josh. Can I?
Yeah, please.
He's 7'5".
Holy shit. Well, that's gonna be a problem because Janice is 4'10".
Okay. Josh is 7'5".
Okay.
He loves chicken.
Oh, Janice is a vegan.
Wait. Get this.
Why did they pair them?
Get this.
Yeah.
His whole shtick is he's a vegan that loves chicken.
Does he eat chicken?
No, he loves chickens.
Oh, he just has a bunch of chickens.
Like he's like,
he
like Pimp My Ride. He got his car turned into a chicken.
Baby, what? I can actually see it. I've watched so many Pimp My Rides that he probably mentioned one time, like, yeah, my favorite food's chicken nuggets. And they're like, yes. And then it has like feathers all around it. It like, when you hit the horn, it's like, I couldn't think of what a chicken sounds like.
No. Yeah, it just says its name really fast.
Chicken.
No, but yeah, and then it's like so weird because he's so tall that like. Okay.
Oh, we're still going with it.
Yeah, his foot though, his feet.
Only one.
His feet
he has one single foot.
Kid size 5.
That is not physically possible, honey.
Yes, it is.
No.
Ask my friend Josh. He's an anomaly.
I don't think that would work. I think he would.
Tell me about Janice.
I think he would need to be in a wheelchair probably. I don't think his feet would be
I
able
never
to hold
said he
him up.
wasn't.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. We can't walk in those.
Which
is perfect because Janice is 4'10". He clucks. Jesus Christ.
Tell me about Janice. What's it?
She's 4'10" vegan, which is great. I didn't realize they were both going to be vegan because she too loves chicken.
Okay.
She actually has a few.
Does she have a car that's a chicken?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't have a car. She doesn't believe in cars. But she's happy to ride in the Chickmobile.
She's too chicken to get a car. Fuck.
We must move on.
That's so funny.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to share with me before we get into these
Wait,
arguments?
babe, you know how funny it would be before we get into these
What?
arguments? You know how funny it would be to go to that event, bring a friend up there, and then lie about
Just
them.
lie.
But like,
and then they have to stand there and be like, but you say it's like the TikTok trend where you lie in front of your parents or something for a job and they just have to agree.
Yes.
But you're like, he has a PhD.
Yes.
And it's like, didn't go to college.
Yes.
You say he's like 6 foot. He's 5'2".
it's like a bunch
clear lies.
of like incredible stuff, and then at the end
He's
you're
bald
like,
and you're like,
have
his
you guys
luscious
seen
hair?
Pimp My Ride? His car's a chicken.
He was on season 1.
Dude, that is such a
Ridiculous.
niche experience that we all had.
It truly is.
Watching Pimp My Ride and everyone turning their car into like the one thing that they accidentally said.
I'm trying to remember the craziest ones I saw. I think there was like a golf one. There was something that it was like covered in like a rug, and I want to think it was golf, and it was all green. Is that right?
I don't know. That
Am I
does
making
sound
that up?
familiar.
It was maybe it wasn't covered in green because of golf. Maybe it was for something else. We should watch it.
You know, it's always crazy when they pop the trunk and there'd be like a full infotainment system.
Oh, sorry, what?
I don't know what I meant,
Say
but
that
like
again?
I meant entertainment.
Yeah.
What's infotainment?
Never heard
I think
that.
that's like in a car.
There was one that it was like kind of a van or an SUV where they took out all the seats and they put like a bench seat sideways that was like a couch, and then there was a huge flat screen TV.
Okay, loving.
I did think that was pretty cool when I was younger, but I was like,
Did your parents have TVs in their cars?
no TVs in our cars.
Well, remember when that was a thing?
Yeah, I think you think that I grew up in a different tax bracket than I did.
No, but remember that was a thing. People had TVs in their cars.
Yeah, you would buy them. They didn't come in the car, I remember, or maybe they did. When I was little, I remember like you could buy a portable one and like attach it to your back.
I think one of my parents' cars had it.
Yeah.
They have it now.
Yeah. Oh my God, your dad's car now is like dream kid car.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of our little niece.
Yeah.
That she gets to ride there and like have her headphones in and watch whatever she wants. She has like Netflix on back there.
I remembered.
What?
We didn't have whoa. My voice is like in a bubble.
Oh.
I don't think we had them behind the seats, but we had the one that would come down in the middle.
Oh
Remember
my God, I
that?
remember people who had that. It was like those vans and they would like pop down. Oh, I
Yes.
thought they were so
And then you'd be like on a
cool.
road trip with your friends, be like, what movie should we watch?
Yeah.
And then you would have like multiple movies and you could
Yeah, I didn't
choose.
have that, but I thought they were really cool.
was
I
fun.
remember my one friend growing up, her dad got a phone in his car before cell phones. Had
Oh,
a phone in his car.
Phone
and I
car.
was like,
car phone.
a car.
That's what it's called.
Was it a phone,
Phone
car? The phone could not drive,
It's a
but the
chicken.
car could drive with the phone. And every time it would ring, it'd go. And feathers came out of the tailpipe. It was crazy.
You guys were thinking about getting a Rivian. What do you think?
Yeah, as we've been talking about our family growing, I know it sounds crazy when we say this to people. We're like, we need 3 rows of seats. And they're like, why? But we have 2 big dogs that take up an entire seat. We can't have 2 dogs next to a baby.
And I think we'll always have either multiple dogs or at least one big dog.
Yeah. And even if not, like that's so far down the road that we need the car now. And we want 2 kids eventually. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you can put the dogs in the trunk. But then it's like they like to be able to put their head out the windows. And they need a little airflow. And if we're going on a trip, we need the trunk for luggage. And
So-
we're not light packers.
We're not like packers. I'm also like, I like to keep things in my car. Not a lot, but I like to be like,
You
I
always have
have
stuff in
a
the
ball
trunk.
pump in the
And
trunk.
imagine being
I have-
parents.
Yeah.
We're going to have shit in
40
there all
ball
day.
pumps.
Yeah.
And
Hey, you have toys in your trunk now, and we have no kids. And they're not even toys for the dogs.
no.
They're for you.
Yeah, dude. And then
Well, you had a wiffle ball in your car for like
I did. I thought
like
that
a
was
paddle
so
thing.
fun. I just wanted to be ready.
Yeah, you
case.
like it
I love
truly.
that.
Anytime I was like, you want to go to the park, you like wanted to be prepped.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's pop them in. Oh my God, that would have been my thing on Pit My Ride. They would have been like, this girl has a
It would
big
have- you would
five,
have opened
has a
the-
Dick's Sporting Goods in
You
her
would have
car.
opened your trunk or whatever and popped out like all the sport equipment. Like
All
it
the
would like
balls.
kind of like whenever someone's selling stuff and they open their trench coat.
Yeah.
it'd be like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
But anyway, we're trying to figure out a 3-row car that we like, and
We want it to be cute.
And the big boys, so obviously we're getting into big boy territory when we're at
But I
Three
don't want
Rows.
it really big
It's like
is the problem.
Yukons, Suburbans, like what else? Like a big
Escalade.
which I don't want.
They're
We can't
just
be
so
doing an Escalade.
hunky. I just don't feel like it's us. Like,
But
it's
then
not
a
our
Rivian
vibe.
is very sleek,
Yeah.
hot.
I think it also works because it's electric. They're able to save so much space where mechanical stuff would normally be. So even though it's not huge, it has like under the hood, there's storage there. We can put stuff in. The trunk still has enough space.
We just need to see if they'd be willing to transform it into a chicken.
Yeah. That's the only stipulation.
Just really quick before we sign the dotted
We're
line,
so ready
do you guys have any plans?
to make a chicken model. Jesus.
Chick.
All right, guys, let's get into your relationship main struggles. I asked over on the Staying Up Instagram, so if you ever want to get involved in these, make sure you guys are following us over on Staying Up on IG and TikTok and all the things. And I just posted a story asking what are common arguments or issues that you have in your relationship, because I feel like I know there's a saying or study that the first fight you have is like the fight you'll always have again and again.
I love that you just said a saying or a study. You choose.
Oh, I don't know. I was like, oh, it's a saying. And I was like, no, I think there's actual evidence behind it.
I don't think so.
Oh, there's not evidence.
Well, I've never heard that it was.
Okay, well,
evidence.
whatever. People talk about this.
It was a study. It was a clinical worldwide study
Yeah.
between every person ever.
Every couple that's ever existed. I don't know, whatever. Listen, everyone fights. It's normal. And it is also normal to have reoccurring fights. So I want people to like feel a little less alone. I went through and I was screenshotting everything at first and was just going to read them, but we got so many. And as I was going through them, every single thing you guys said was repeated by at least one other person, typically many, many, many people.
Love.
So we all struggle with this stuff. You are not alone. You are normal. But we can all get better at these things. I think that's the difference, that just because something is normal and everyone struggles with it doesn't mean you have to keep struggling with it. You can keep getting better and keep learning. So, let's start with tough in-laws / setting boundaries around family. I think this is a really delicate one and a struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, we're so lucky that we love each other's families.
Yes.
But even in that, we've experienced like boundaries with family.
It's a hard
things.
dynamic to come into because you go your partner with their family, even if it's a really good dynamic, is sometimes even really good, presents different challenges because they're so close. They have their way of doing things.
Right.
And then you have that with your family. And now you're trying to re-navigate and deal with different family dynamics, good or bad. And how do we now take our family dynamic as a couple and implement that into that? So yeah, it doesn't have to be a bad situation to run into complications. Like you said, we're very lucky. But my advice on this would be, you guys need to be a team. You and the couple need to be a team, and the partner needs to step up and communicate to their own family. They know the nuances. There's sometimes like little things that could upset somebody in the family that you would have no idea by an outsider. Like, you might be being really nice and helping your mother-in-law cook, but she actually finds it really offensive and she likes to do all the cooking on her own, and that's just not the dynamic. It could be something really simple and confusing to you, or it could be big and your father-in-law's really just fucking rude and you need your partner to stand up to it. I think leaning on your partner is really helpful in that moment.
I think too, like, if you're like me, you would benefit from going to therapy about family stuff in general. But one thing that I think like we weren't expecting to struggle with is how you and I are creating a new family together.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me to wrap my head around without even noticing that it was hard for me to wrap my head around when we had first gotten together, especially like around, not first, but like, sorry, when we got serious, like when we were getting engaged,
planning
and
wedding and
talking
stuff.
about our wedding and stuff. Cause I was just like, it was like time to make a decision, and I'd think to ask my mom.
You'd be like, hold on, let me call my parents real
Let me
quick.
call my mom. And Kim's like, well, why don't you and I talk about it? And I'm like, oh my God, so fair.
You're like, oh,
Wait.
right.
And she's like, well, so we're family now.
Surprise.
And
You're
I'm
marrying
like,
me.
oh, like you go your whole life being like, my parents, well, some of us go our whole life being like, my parents are great advice givers and the people that I ask stuff to. And
it's such big things now. I want to ask them this too.
Right. And
Which
like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I've been talking about my wedding with like my parents my whole life. And
Longer
then
than you've talked about it with me.
A bunch.
You know what I mean?
A lot longer. And so it's hard for me in those moments to be like, oh, I need to push aside what I've learned to do my entire life because someone else's feelings matter more. And it feels weird because like you haven't had the time to say like, okay, yes, this person does matter more to me than my parents or whatever, because it is new. Like you're coming off of, for us, 30 years of being like, this person's not in my
relationship
life
with the family.
Just suddenly this person is now the person I need to go to for everything and get to. But when it comes to big choices, I think that was really hard for me. So all to say, I think that was like a piece that you and I had to work on. And I'm thankful for how patient you were with me. But then also I had to be the person that would like communicate that back to my family in ways that
was respectful, loving, and not pushing them away. It's like reframing, making sure it didn't feel like I was joining your family. But rather you and I were expanding our own individually and getting all of these extra family members, and we were melding the two together. Not, oh, I'm just coming in this little place in your life as Taryn's partner.
And that had been the role of everyone else I've ever dated, was that they came into my life and my life stayed the same. I think there's also the dynamic that I was always very independent. I didn't consult my parents on a lot of decisions I make. I, for most part of my life, make a decision and tell them about it. Right.
So I didn't have that dynamic. So it was hard for me to understand of like, well, why do you need to ask your parents? Like, do you not trust that we can make the best decision and can we decide what we want and then share our thoughts with them and get their opinion on our decision? Like, can we, I wanted to present as a united front first, because then I also didn't want to feel like if we bring up a topic to your parents and maybe it's a topic you and I find we don't agree on, napkin color, something stupid, and I want blue and you want yellow, and then in talking to your parents, I know, but they say they want yellow, and then all of a sudden it turns into, well, we're getting advice, but now I feel teamed up against, and now
you
I
already
have to,
are very sensitive to that specific feeling.
Now I have to fight to be heard over something that at the beginning should have just been like 50-50, we disagree, and now it's 75-25, and I'm outnumbered, and now it's like, wait a minute, this isn't about us, this is like me joining these three people instead. But and I think we're lucky because I want your parents' opinions. Like they're great and I value their thoughts. So once we found out that dynamic of more so the order that you and I talk things through first, and then we get to share with your parents, and then we get to ask for their advice and their direction, what they think we should be doing, then it feels good. And then even if your parents are saying exactly what you would agree on, you still are able to be like, yeah, I see that. And I thought that, oh, Cam said this and now I really get it. Or they'll agree with me and you'll be like, oh, now I understand more where Cam's coming from. And now it's just a great dynamic where I feel like their input is invaluable.
And it's like, it's not only just about their like go to them for advice as much as it is like, those were some of my best friends too. So I'm like, I want to tell them stuff. I want to like, whatever. But I think that in-law stuff in general, I understand why people fight about it, and partner families, all that stuff. It's literally years and years of things and people all doing a certain thing and acting a certain way and creating norms, and then trying to like bring someone else into it.
It's
and
tough.
And sometimes an entirely different family into it, which is a lot.
Okay, these next two kind of go hand in hand, so I'm going to lump them together because I think there's going to be a lot of overlap. but a lot of cleaning. There were so many people
Yep.
who said cleaning, just the one word, or different ideas of what cleaning is, wanting specific stuff, why their partner can't put their clothes in the laundry basket, or why their partner won't wring out the sponge after washing the dishes.
Did you submit all those?
Yeah, and then those were just a few that I mentioned. And if you guys have anything to add, no, but I did hear that if you don't wring out the sponge, it like creates so much more bacteria. So I always do that now, and I feel like you do it now too. And then I'm gonna couple that in with the conversation on division of labor.
Yeah.
'Cause I think they all just kind of link up.
I mean, we were just at drinks with a friend, and she was telling us that her and her partner struggle with this as well. Like,
I think this is the number one majority of people.
it has to be.
Yeah.
And it's got to be the thing that people, I mean, money it probably is a bigger,
Yeah, money's probably a hot button.
but I feel like this comes into play more because
Yeah.
it's every little thing starts pissing you off, and you look around and you're like, why didn't you fix that? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And it just spirals.
Yeah, it's a lot of unspoken expectations a lot of times.
Yeah.
That I think is tough. But it's also like you don't want to overly say, you don't want to be overly nitpicky and be like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, blah, 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 blah. And that makes it really hard to kind of find this balance. I also find people think that when it's two girls in a relationship that this is not an issue, that you're all just cleaning all day and the house is spotless. I'm like,
Which is
whoa,
so
whoa, whoa,
ridiculous
whoa.
because it just feels like, well, girls clean.
Yeah, and it's like
That's just what it's based on.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. I also think, though, that like probably gay guys are some of the cleaner couple homes.
I lived with a
feel
gay
like.
guy. He was the messiest person I've ever
Yeah,
met.
but two gay men together in a couple, wouldn't you think they'd be clean?
No, because
Okay.
I lived with a gay man and he was messy. So why would another gay man make him clean?
Because magic.
Because yeah, it's
You know?
it's just so funny when people have that idea. I actually think there's a reason why this can get more complicated in queer relationships.
Tell me.
Because we are so lucky to go into the relationship with no specific heteronormative stereotypical roles. All of that is down. So then we can lean into where we really thrive. But you have to have a conversation on it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we had a conversation on it until a year into living in this house. So we were
We
like,
didn't have like our big combo until then.
Yeah.
Like, we'd had like little things and probably lots of little scrums about it.
but we talked about it because of an argument
Right.
or frustration.
Right.
And I think the day we finally sat down and said, listen, this is not working. We keep being frustrated with each other. What can we do? And I use this example when we talk about it with friends a lot. I would do the laundry most of the time, 19 times out of 20. So then when you would do it that 20th time, instead of me being grateful, I was like, oh my God, finally she helped out. And I'd be frustrated. And ignoring any other little thing that you're doing, I was just frustrated that it was like, I never said I was taking on this role, and it just felt assumed that I would do it. Or I felt like, hey, these are the things that you and I both need to do to keep our household moving, and you're not doing it. Then when we had our talk about division of labor, where you and I both were able to be like, hey, I actually don't mind doing this. I actually really like doing this chore. And okay, great, I like this. And I kind of hate this. And I could be like, well, I hate it less than you do, so I'll take on that one.
Yeah.
Once we did that, now, again, to the laundry example, if you do the laundry, I see that as you helping me.
If I don't fuck it up.
Well, I still see it as helping. I know. I mean, Taryn's not great at laundry, so that's why it's not her
so
thing.
not true. I
What?
am good at laundry.
She
when
throws everything in one thing.
I don't always. I understand separating
This
colors.
is not a chat about that. We know that laundry's not your forte. That's okay.
But what's important to note is that I do like doing laundry. I
Okay.
just feel that when I do it, you have special clothes.
I will have clothes that come out either shrunk or my white t-shirt will be all dingy.
or
so,
it's a thing that you have that I don't like. It's like a weird little shirt that can't be with the other shirts.
yeah, that's what I mean. It needs like hand washed.
Yeah.
Yeah, things
And
can't be washed.
And
Yeah.
my clothes are never like that.
Yours are though. The only time
Now
I've
they
ever
are.
the only
They didn't used to be like that.
well,
So when I used to do
now you have
laundry,
nicer clothes.
yeah. So when I used to do laundry,
You just throw
I
it
used to
all in
love it because
yeah.
it was so easy.
Yeah.
And now the times that I've tried to do laundry, I'll always
you
fuck
stress
something up, and then it puts more load on you. And then I don't want to do it again because I'm like, well, I fucked it up and she got upset.
Yeah. Now it's typically like you'll help out by just throwing your stuff in.
Yeah.
Which you don't really need to do, but like that's where you'll step in. But my point is now I can see it as helping because it is a task that is typically on my list and you are unloading that task.
Yeah.
The laundry is just an arbitrary example. It's not the reality of it. And like your job is cleaning up the dog poop. So now instead of if you go out there in 3 days, you're like, why is there so much dog shit in our yard? Cam hasn't touched it. It's cleaned up today. I don't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can be more grateful when the other partner steps up and it does truly feel like helping.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember one time before we did division of labor, you mentioned something about helping me and that triggered me so bad because I was like, you're not helping me. Like this is our home and our responsibilities. Like you're just doing what needs to be done. Like this wasn't supposed to be my sole responsibility. And it's so funny that we can be doing generally the same exact stuff we were always doing. But now that those rules are clear, it feels so good. And then I'm so grateful for the things you're doing. I'm so grateful when you help out and vice versa. But when it's just unspoken, it leaves so much room of like, it becomes very tit for tat of like, well, how many times did you take out the trash? And how many times did you do the dishes? And now it's just like, I'm normally going to do that. And I feel like we've gotten in a groove where there are a few tasks that we did allocate, but now they've kind of been a bit more gray area. Like trash, we said was yours, but like if it's full, like I'm going to take it. Or it's provided a really easy way to be like, instead of being like, Tara, can you take the trash out? And being annoyed, it's like, hey babe, can I remind you like trash is on your list or whatever. I've been saying like, can I remind you this? And it feels just like way more loving and team effort. And then like I load the dishes, you unload the dishes. That one I feel like we're always if we see the dishes, we're doing it.
Yeah.
But we generally know those are the rules. So then if I'm overloaded and I have a million things to do and the dishes need unloaded before I can load it, I can be like, hey babe, I don't feel bad asking you to do that. And I don't feel like if I ask you to do that, you're going to be like, well, I just did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Can you do it? It's like, no, that's my responsibility. I'll take that on.
Yep.
I feel like it's made for such a hard topic. It's really smoothed it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Solved it.
Yeah. So
it gets better. Just talk about it.
Yeah, truly. That like was an immediate shift, I feel.
Yeah. And I think too, the whole like, some people, again, just have different backgrounds. And until you understand about your partner's background with cleaning, you're not going to know why they are the way that they are.
Yeah.
Like I think when you and I talked about how differently we grew up with cleaning, it was like, oh, everything makes sense.
Understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like learning that stuff I think is so useful.
I think that's advice for literally every topic on this list.
Yeah.
Of not assuming your partner is ever trying to hurt you. Like, I know we all get freaked out when we're hurt or offended or whatever it may be, and we go into our little lizard brain and think, oh my gosh, this person who I love is trying to hurt me. But if you take a second back and go like, did this person I love, would they actually try to hurt me? Because if yes, then that's a whole nother problem.
Right.
But 100% of the time, if you're with the right person, you're going, no, they're not trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of think, okay, well, how are they seeing it? And what's their experience and the differences here?
There's also probably just some shit that it's like, yeah, you got to do better too. Like if one person, I love the advice of like, yeah, like listen to your strengths and I'll do my strength, you do your strength. Like let's both just do our stuff. But if somebody is doing 90% of the shit and then the other person's doing 10% of the shit, it's like the 10% person should be
step it up.
Kind of a grown up and be like, okay, well, I should help. It's not, I can't just say, oh, it's not my strength to vacuum.
Oh, 100%.
Learn how to fucking vacuum.
Yeah, don't
it's
be
not that
like,
hard.
That I feel like is the definition of weaponized incompetence. Like you don't just get to go, I'm not good at it. But if you are genuinely not good at chores, then you can be the one who is managing things better.
Right.
You're like, I feel like we've gotten in a groove where if something needs done around the house, if we need to hire someone, you're researching it. You're finding it.
I'm the vendor person in our relationship.
And then like I'll talk to them because get nervous to put
I
your
always
foot.
call them.
No, I mean like when they're here
Physically here.
to
Yeah.
like the hand if they need like a stern talking
Yeah,
to.
too nice.
But I feel like you realize that household chores, you have completely stepped up and you don't just use the excuse of I'm not good at it. Like you genuinely work to be better at it and learn. But you've also found other ways to compensate for that.
Right.
And been like, okay, so I might not be the best at this. So I can make sure I do this. I can make sure I'm always ordering groceries or whatever it may be. Find ways to step up for your partner if you genuinely are like, okay, I'm just shit at that. True. All right, next topic, we got jealousy and trust.
Jealousy.
What do you have to say about that, baby?
Well, sometimes you're just really hot and your person gets jealous about it.
That's all
I would know.
That's all we're gonna say about that.
No, I don't know what to say about this. I think, yeah, it's fucking real, and I have experienced that. I think I experience it more than Cam does, but you do too, which always like makes me feel a little bit better if you do feel it, because I'm like, oh, okay, great, I'm not a fucking monster. Yeah, I think jealousy is a thing to be worked out on your own than with your partner. I don't think that it is like if you feel weird about something, you're like, oh, I don't, when you talk to that person, it made me feel weird. 9 times out of 10, you know, they actually weren't being weird.
Yeah.
And you know, it's in your head and you're worried that, oh my God, what if they think they're hotter than me and they like them, or they think they're funnier than me, blah, blah, blah. You can tell your partner that, but, and they can say, oh my God, no, babe, blah, blah. And then you're kind of feel maybe 1% better. But inside, if you don't work on that with ideally a therapist or talk to friends honestly about it, to try to just be like, bro, why do I feel this way? Like, where does this come from? Where is my insecurity in this? Because is
my partner giving me a reason to not trust them, or are they not doing anything wrong and it's fully just an insecurity on my part?
100%. And jealousy is just gross. Like it's like one of my least favorite things about myself. I hate when I'm jealous, and I'm jealous about a lot. I am.
I love it.
Like in not just relationships.
No, I know
is
what
what I'm
mean.
saying.
Yeah,
I'm like I can be a jealous, envious person, and it is one of the emotions that you feel that just don't ever leave you with anything good. I'm like, ew.
It doesn't provide anything positive to your life either. Yeah.
No. And so I think if that's something you're fighting about with your partner often, specifically in like the context of the two of you, the jealous person has to be self-aware enough to be like, I got to get this shit figured out myself.
Yeah.
And if they're not, send them this pod. Like,
yeah. And I think with a lot of things, there is a point where you're like over communicating. I think whenever you are wanting so badly to have a healthy relationship, anytime you get any kind of like, oh, that hurt, or like, oh, I didn't feel 100% positive about that, you want to talk about it.
Right.
Because you want to work it out, and you want to like, if you're somebody who's ever sweeps stuff under the rug, you want to be like, oh, I'm not going to do that again.
right.
But there is some times where you can sit with something for a second to make sure you like suss out how you actually feel.
Yeah.
Did my partner do anything? Is there something I want to bring up that I want them to change or work on?
Right.
Or am I just feeling this big emotion, and is it obvious? Like, I see a shift in you when you get uncomfortable or jealous.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to fully just keep it in and deal with it on your own, because I feel it and then I'm like, oh, what's wrong? And then I'm on edge that I'm like, what's up? But I feel like you've gotten really good at sharing it with me in a not accusatory way, but just I'm feeling this way, that I can just be aware of where you're sitting in your feelings. And I know it's not on me and it's not my job to fix or do anything, but I can give you a little reassurance. I can be a little touchier with you if I'm having like a night, like sometimes I'm not very touchy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I can be kissy and lovey on you to remind you.
I think that's the thing that has like helped me reframe a lot of jealousy in general, is like, I think in relationships, I used to feel like I was jealous of my person and someone else, like the way they were interacting.
Yeah.
But when I kind of learned to reframe it as like, what am I jealous of outside of that other person? Like, I'm jealous for your attention, or I'm jealous for like your laughter. Like, I'm like, which I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, but it helped me figure out what I was
better understand the
actually
details.
feeling.
Totally.
Because it's not like you look at another person, like if you left unexamined, you would look at it and be like, this person's making me feel weird. You're being weird with them. This is weird.
Yeah.
Instead of
and
being
then the
like,
person's gonna get defensive. Like, what?
Right.
I'm not doing anything.
instead of being like, hey, we've been at this party for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You've spent 60 or whatever. You've spent 45 minutes talking to this person. I've seen you twice. I'm understanding why I feel.
I actually found that pretty accusatory, that way of wording it. Like,
I'm talking in my head.
oh, okay.
I'm-
I was like, I don't think I would respond to that.
Oh my
well,
God, no.
actually. Okay.
I'm in my head being like, this is what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
And if you work it out, you're like, oh, I'm feeling like they're not giving me attention, or that sounds ridiculous, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling lonely in this moment, or I'm feeling like,
And it's like,
don't
then
forget
you can go,
I'm here
okay, if
vibes.
I'm feeling that, why don't I go stand by that? Like, I can
Totally.
make a change here. If I'm feeling like disconnected from my partner and they've been talking to somebody else for a long time and I'm wanting to be around them, you can also choose to go be around them.
right. And it's like, not, the point is, it's like a lot of times you think you're jealous of someone else or of your partner or whatever, but it's really something else that is
Feeling
like,
it's invoking.
yeah, there's something else there that's like, oh, I'm jealous of how successful they sound right now, and I'm worried that you find that more interesting than what I'm doing.
It's 99%
whatever it
of the time playing off of an insecurity in ourselves.
Yeah.
And just need to like sit with it, feel it, and then if necessary, communicate it.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have tone of voice. I feel like we have struggled with this a lot, and I for a long time had a hard time understanding why my tone wasn't right in a fight. And for a long time I thought like Taryn was just nitpicky, and I was like, you're good at words, you're just like wanting me to say everything perfectly. But I didn't realize the weight of the words. I feel like I also get heated way easier. So in my mind in the beginning when this was an issue for us, it was like, oh, if I raise my voice, obviously that's not nice, not a good thing to do. But I think that this is a topic that you really talk about and explain to your partner, preferably not in the middle of a fight. Like, you have given me such insight on why it's not always like what I'm saying, it's how I'm saying it, or maybe the opposite. Maybe it's not how I'm saying it. I don't know. Like, my intentions might not be some like big horrible statement, or I might not be yelling in that moment, but I think the best example I have of this is like definitive statements. Like, I'll say, you're being this, or you are this, and that just throws your partner on the defense.
Yeah.
And in my head I was like, well, I'm just trying to explain like how I'm seeing it and what I'm feeling, and like the energy you're giving to me. But it was just, it comes off as like, I'm right, you're wrong, you're doing this, and that is just the reality. Where when you don't feel if I say like, you're being rude, and you don't feel like you're being rude, then I'm presenting that as fact.
Yes.
And that's just going to throw your partner like hands up, like, I can't deal with this. So I think this is hard because I even in the middle of fights, whenever Taryn has brought up like, don't say that, I don't like that, have been completely confused and been like, wait, what's wrong with that? And I've tried to say it back to me of like, if she said that to me, would I be offended? And then we've talked about it and I'm like, oh, I completely hear how that is like such an intense comment. And it's not, you have to let go of what your intention is behind the comments and understand how they're being perceived, and take on some of that responsibility. I think people are quick to not take on responsibility for how things are being perceived, but it is how you're saying it. It is if you are adding inflection, speaking louder, rolling your eyes. Like, there's a lot of things that are added into it. And this has been my biggest struggle in our relationship. And I feel like more recently, like, really we've unlocked a lot of stuff of like light bulb moments of like, oh, that's what you don't like. Because I'd leave conversations and I'm like, I didn't raise my voice. And she said that like she doesn't like the way I spoke to her. And now I'm so confused. And I'd be like, I didn't say some big awful thing. I didn't raise my voice. And then now understanding how the way I'm saying stuff is so, I'm gonna say this wrong at myself, but I don't care because at myself. But it's so intense.
Yeah.
And I know like I don't ever want to call you that in a fight, but like I And I struggle and I get flustered in fights too.
Yeah.
So that really overwhelms me to be like, I don't know how to say it perfectly. But you have to work on this because words matter.
It's not say it perfectly. It's just
no, I'm not saying that you
it's
want me
like
to say it
it's like
perfect.
how people say there's no like right way to say things there,
Yeah.
but there are certainly wrong ways.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I feel like we've had to like really work on with each other is like you're not always going to say it right, but there are definitely ways to say it wrong. I think it's just the difference in saying like you statements versus like I feel statements. And that for us has been the smallest but like biggest
Most
change,
impactful.
most
Yeah.
impactful change is like instead of you're rude, you always do this, you blah 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 blah, it's like I'm feeling sad. I'm
Yeah.
feeling not heard by you.
Focus on yourself
I'm
in the moment and
feeling-
not accusing your partner.
Right, because like I listened to something about fighting and it was saying like if you speak in an accusatory term or in an accusatory tone, no matter what, your person will be on the defense
Yeah, they're
because
not
they
gonna
are
be
being
receptive.
accused of something.
Yeah.
So if you don't like when your partner gets defensive, you cannot speak to them in an accusatory term.
Yeah, don't
Don't.
push them to
I keep saying that.
be on defense.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's natural. If someone
Yeah.
accuses you of something, you are defensive, even if you didn't do it. If someone's like, "Why'd you just kill that guy?" You're like, "What the fuck? I didn't kill that guy."
Even more so sometimes that it's like
Right.
you're upset that your partner would think that.
Right.
And then you're like, instead of focusing on how your partner's feeling, you're focused on your partner thinking wrong,
Totally.
which then it pisses off your partner even more.
Totally. It's like
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit left out of the conversation
Yeah.
versus like you're leaving me out of this conversation.
Yes.
Is like
It
Total different
adds like
situation.
intention.
right.
It's like you are purposely doing this thing and
Right.
you're trying to hurt me, which obviously is not the intention behind that statement even. But yeah, that one's really hard. I really struggle with that. I think I have not historically been the best at like sharing when I am hurt. So when I do, I just like want to be heard and
Yeah.
be like, I'm like proud that I even spoke up. So then it's like, ugh. And then I would get in my head and be like, okay, I just have to say it in this perfect way.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a way to deflect from focusing on why I'm hurt.
Yeah, which I can also see.
But it's just like, no, if we're going to spend our entire lives together, we need to be able to like properly communicate. And it's hard. Sometimes you have different communication styles, and something that I say that would bother you wouldn't bother me. And we've steered clear of being like, oh, you would hate when I say that, because it's like, well, maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because if it bothers you, that matters to me. And we need to like understand each other. We don't need to agree. We
Yeah.
just need to get each other. So
Yeah.
that's a top point of contention for us that I'm like, probably, well, I mean, I think I'll work on that forever. I think that's like
Yeah.
my biggest flaw, and just an area that like I actively try on and fail a lot, but I'm getting better at.
You are getting better at it.
Okay. Oh my gosh, we have so many left and not a lot of time. So
Why don't we just read off the last ones?
Okay.
And as you can see, we can agree on all of these. And multiple, like Cam said, multiple people submitted all of these things. So don't
Yes.
feel alone. If we
Okay.
had the time to talk about them all, we clearly would.
Yeah, and we can always give you guys a part 2. Okay, so sex drive and wanting the other person to initiate it was a big topic.
Yeah.
I just think that's such a communication thing, and
Yeah.
getting on the same page and understand each other.
And again, that's saying I'm feeling sad.
Mm-hmm.
In my heart, it's feeling like maybe you're not attracted to me or something because you don't initiate. Instead of, why don't you
want me?
initiate? Why don't you, you never, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like a difference in the way that you're communicating
Yeah.
it that will help the other person actually hear you.
Not accusing your partner
Yeah.
probably applies to all of these
Probably
things.
all of them.
Having a type B partner with a type A partner, or an extrovert with an introvert. Just basically partners wanting different things,
Yeah.
needing different things. And I think that's where there's a lot of value in having your own things too, so
Yeah.
that you can't get your cup fully filled by one person at all times, and also compromising.
I also do, I mean, no one's really going to want to hear this, but I also do believe that there are certain spectrums that don't make sense long term.
Like
Together.
large extreme
Like
things.
the extreme
Yeah.
of an extrovert and an introvert,
Yeah.
or
Sometimes those dynamics just aren't going to go hand in
The
hand.
way that those people like to spend their time might not be the person you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah, you can be different, but if it messes with your compatibility,
Yeah.
maybe not.
So if it's like a fight that is like you continue to have it and it's not getting better,
Yeah.
I would probably get help and see if that's something that is like we are just wired really differently in a way
Yeah.
that is not meant to be,
Yeah.
or this is something we can actually work on. I don't think
Totally.
everything is meant to be able to be worked on, which maybe is like a hot take.
I don't think, I mean, if one partner wants kids, one doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
there's some non-negotiables, and that's okay.
Yeah, not everyone can be
If
your
one person
soulmate.
lives in one country and one wants to live in another, well,
Everyone should go live in their country.
yeah, be where you want to
The
be.
country they want to live in, to be
No,
clear.
oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Everyone should get to live where they want to live. Like, some things you can't compromise on is basically the point. Not liking their friends. Oof.
See, even that
Yeah.
to me is up there.
That one's tough. It depends why. This one's a little too nuanced for us to give a blanket statement on because there's a lot of reasons of not liking. Like, are they just bad people and bad influences? But
Maybe we do a part 2.
we might need to. We have what to have for dinner. I had to write that because so many people said it.
I've been thinking about it for the last hour.
It's so funny once you get hangry and you're like, you fucking figure it out. It is the worst thing in the world that we have to figure out what to eat 3 times a day. I'm just gonna say it. Money, of course. I think that'll always be a big one for couples. Being present on your phone too much or not spending enough quality time
gotten better at
together. Yeah, I feel like we're pretty bad. Like, we're on our phones a lot, but like we'll do it together. But then once one of us wants to put it down, we're like, "Hi,
Yeah.
you've been on your phone for so long."
Yeah, put
I'm
it
like,
down.
"What? You
100%.
just put it down." And then just different ways of showing love and having different love languages. I think understanding how you're different from each other and giving someone, I never like the saying, treat others how you want to be treated. It's like treat others how they want to be treated.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I don't want things that would make you feel good and vice versa. Like
Right.
you need to know your partner and show up for them the way that they want to. But then you also need to recognize how your partner shows love so that you can be appreciative of the way
Yeah.
that they are showing love.
And sometimes I want to be bent over backwards and taught a lesson.
I knew deep in my bones that you were just about to say something unhinged.
Deep in your
So
bones,
deep in my
bro.
bones. Okay.
Yeah, like just because you might not
Honey?
want that doesn't mean I don't.
Whoa. Who said I didn't want that? Hold on. Don't get confused. Okay, well, it looks like we need a part 2 on relationship woes because we got many of them, but we are going to jump into our listener story
Hit it.
of the week.
Oh, remember PP of the Weeky?
Aw, R.I.P. PP of the week.
All right, PP of the Weeky, PP.
Okay, hi guys. This is a little bit out of your wheelhouse, but I thought I'd ask you because I'd love to get like a third-party opinion, a non-biased, neutral opinion. I am a foster parent. I have fostered 7 kiddos. So the current kiddo I have is my 7th kiddo, and it's looking like this kiddo is going to go towards adoption, and I'll likely keep him forever. The other ones have stayed with us, and their parents have gotten their rights back. Pish posh, that's not important here. It is very important. But the important part is I have 1 foster kiddo right now, and I have a big family. And oftentimes in my family, whenever my grandma, so this would be my foster kiddo's great-grandmother, when she refers to her great-grandchildren, she says she only has 2, which discounts my current kiddo. And that always hurts my feelings. My foster kiddos have always been like the only great-grandbabies or the only grandbabies. But this past year, my cousins have had kids. Pish posh, again, not important. But there's additional grandbabies. So that now discounts the fact that there's my foster kiddo. And so I just wanted your thoughts on how would you like go about handling this, addressing this. I don't know. I oftentimes will correct and be like, there's 3 of them. But I've even been told, like Christmas, I was explicitly told, like, no, it's different. And I'm totally down and willing to cut off family at, like, my son's expense. Like, I'm not going to have these toxic people in his life, but I also don't want to be, like, the over-dramatic family member. I don't know. It's different. It's weird. It's a whole thing I'm having to go through, and I'd love your thoughts. Okay. Bye. Thanks.
Damn, brother.
First of
Whoa.
all, you're awesome. I just think foster parents are so cool. Like,
Coolest.
I wonder if we'll ever like be in a place in our life to do that. I just
We
think
did
it's
with
so
with Wiggy.
That's cute. We did foster her. But yeah, I just think that's amazing, and it's so selfless to like fall in love with these kids and know that you might not get to have them in your life forever. So congrats on
Thank you for
your
doing
son potentially seeming like he's gonna get to stick around with you. That's really special.
That's awesome.
Got
Yeah,
any advice,
man.
babe?
I mean, that would be really hurtful. I would agree. If I were you, I would feel the same way you do. Like, I think such a interesting. I used to volunteer at a foster camp, and I was a camp counselor, and these kids are so deeply just looking for a family, and they also, some of them are so aware that when they get brought into a family, whether it's foster or an adoption situation, they are like, am I different? Do you see me as family? Am I like, is this like, is this
Am I an outsider in
philanthropy?
this?
Is
Yeah.
this like, they're like dying to actually feel the real connection.
Yeah.
So to hear that from your grandma would be
Infuriating. Rip
because
grandma's hair out.
she's just kind of double downing on what these kids' worst fear is. Not even about you at that point, which that you're totally
No,
right
just
to
family
be
members.
hurt. It's just like, even for this kid,
Yeah.
to know that is the feeling your grandma has is the worst. But
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know how like easy of a conversation it would be to have with her. Obviously, we're both gonna tell you to try to have a conversation with her and be like, girly, when you are saying these things, I feel really like confused. Like, we're really trying to give these kids a really special life, and even if they don't have to hear it from you, I feel how you feel towards them, and I don't think that that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing to do, to just say you
Yes.
have extra grandkids, is to say you have 3.
And how lucky to get an extra grandkid.
It's just not hard.
Yeah.
And I would just say, like,
And it's not different.
it's not different. And
Like grandma did, like, even when people struggle with like adoption, and if they're struggling with like, oh, I didn't birth this kid, like, grandma, you're not birthing any of your grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, they are all, like, it should be so easy for her to see this as the exact same weight of any other grandbaby.
and all grandmas want, not to generalize, but all they want is more grandbabies
Granny,
and great
what are you
grandkids and
being
shit. So I'm
picky
like,
about?
you're dumb. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel like just chatting with her, because I think what happens is, you said that sometimes you'll do like oh, you have 3, and you'll kind of chime in on like a conversation.
Yes.
I think that while I would also do that type of thing can come off as like, oh, this isn't that serious to you.
Yeah.
That you
We need
haven't
to
had
put
a
our foot
special
down.
conversation about it. And they're kind of just like letting it pop up in, when it randomly shows up.
Yeah. I think it was a nice
Yeah.
first step approach
Right.
to just like a gentle reminder, but it's obviously not working.
Yeah. And I love that you're down to just clown cut family out. I think that's hilarious. And I really hope that you don't have to, because family, obviously, as you see with these kids, it's like, family is everything. And so I hope you don't have to do that, but I hope that a chat with Gma will enlighten her. She just might not even understand what she's doing is hurtful.
Yeah.
As it is.
Yeah. I think your son is really lucky to have someone who's like loves him so ferociously and is willing to cut out family members who are going to harm him. But I think a talk will really help here. Also, I wonder, and maybe I'm giving grandma a little too much credit, but just trying to see it from another perspective. You mentioned that you've had a lot of foster kiddos, and they typically go back with their biological parents at some point. They regain custody. Is there a world where your grandma is scared to get too attached to the new foster kids? And now you know how the process works, and you're aware that it's looking like he is going to be able to permanently stay with you guys. Is there a chance that she is afraid to get too close to him and have him taken away? I don't know if that taps in here at all, but I think, trying to have a really open conversation with her and sharing that I need you to treat all of my children the same. They are all I love them the same. They all carry the same weight. And if you can't get on board with that, like, you won't be seeing any of your grandkids. Like, this is not, you need to step it up. I'm not going to harm this sweet kid who just deserves to have his family love him.
Yep.
I wish you
Agree.
all the best.
Thanks for calling in with something that wasn't our forte. That was fun.
I know, it was fun to think about, and like as we're trying to be parents, thinking about like protecting your kids, and
we always just love to just give our little 2 cents.
we
chime
love
in on anything.
Tara and I all day every day will just like talk our shit and run through something and be like, no, this should happen.
So hopefully, peepees, if you're like, oh my God, I don't have like kooky relationship drama, so I'm never going to call in. Let this be your lesson.
We'll take anything.
Give us literally anything.
You could tell us that like you're a barista and a customer came in and they said something rude and you were like, well, I don't know what to even say and I'm afraid they're going to come back in tomorrow and be rude. Like whatever.
You could be like, what do I paint my wall?
Yeah. What color?
You could be like, should I do it? Well, I'm 7.
What should I eat
9,
for dinner?
I'm 7'9", and I love chicken.
And my car is chicken. Okay, guys. We love you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.